Hey guys, I'm Carrie-Anne. Usually I post videos about van life or what we eat in a day with our vegan lifestyle, but today I thought I'd do something a little bit different. Breastfeeding has been a massive part of our lives for over 2 years now, and it's just come to an end. So I thought I'd share with you how I weaned Zion slowly and really gently. So I was happily breastfeeding Zion on demand for the past 2.5 years. And when I found out that I was pregnant, I was like, okay, I knew that I didn't want to be breastfeeding both children at the same time. I know lots of women that go on to do the tandem breastfeeding and they find it really amazing, but I just knew that I wouldn't have the energy to do that. I was waiting until Zion weaned himself, but that hadn't happened. And then I also heard that when you were pregnant, mums who were breastfeeding, their milk changed when they were 12 weeks pregnant. So I thought I'd keep that as a benchmark and see if that changed anything, because sometimes the milk changes and the toddlers don't like, or toddlers or babies don't like the taste of the different milk. But that didn't happen for us either. Zion ended up actually breastfeeding more after that 12-week point. So maybe something changed and he just completely loved it, or maybe he just knew that I was kind of thinking about weaning, I don't know. But then I started looking into different techniques into how to gently wean, because I didn't want to just stop it abruptly, and we had no need to stop it abruptly. I had the rest of my whole pregnancy. I was happy to breastfeed until the baby came, but I just didn't want any crossover because I thought that might make it messy and hard for Zion. And really exhausting for myself as well. So we've also been bed sharing. So ever since he was maybe 3 months old, we moved him into our bed, and then he started to get a little bit big and started taking up too much room in our bed. So we, instead of extending our bed or moving him into another room, we got a cot that we got given and took one side off the cot and put it next to our bed. So then he was he could roll towards me or whatever, but it was like an extension of our bed. So with bed sharing and weaning at the same time, we've still found it to be really good. I actually think it's been a nice thing for him because it's been that added extra comfort. Instead of breastfeeding, I'm still right there next to him. When I was looking online and asking people around me, I couldn't really find techniques that worked for us. So this is how I gently weaned my 2.5-year-old toddler. Firstly, it's a 2 steps forward, 1 step back approach. So firstly, when I really decided, okay, I'm going to start weaning, Zion just took to it. It was amazing. For 7 days, he just rolled over, let me just massage his back or whatever, and he just went to sleep. But after that week, he was like, oh, okay, not getting breastfed anymore to sleep. And so we just went back to breastfeeding to sleep for a bit, because in my mind I knew that, okay, it's not going to be all smooth sailing. And I just found it as, okay, we're just taking a step back and we can move forward soon. My second tip is to take it slowly. So yeah, if you can, take it slowly. I didn't want to rush things, and we didn't have a need to rush things, so we didn't cut out all the feeds at once. I just went slowly and gently and really listened to what Zion was giving back to me. And the whole process probably took about 2 to 3 months. It could be quicker for you guys, or it could be longer for you guys, just whatever works. Every baby, toddler and mum is different. So my third tip is to stop on-demand feeds. This was a big one for us because Zion actually fed quite a lot, and like I said, after the 12-week point of my pregnancy, he started feeding incredibly, heaps more. So I started realizing actually that he was just thirsty or hungry and could just be persuaded to have some water or some, a banana or a snack or something when he was asking for milk. Quite a lot of the time he was completely happy with that. Other times, if he hurt himself or was really overtired or something, I would still breastfeed and comfort him in that way. So with the on-demand feeds, I started to say that it was for that milkies or breastfeeding was just for sleep time. And so he started to actually really take to that and be like, oh, okay. And so then I'd be like, are you going to sleep? And he'd be like, no. Or then he'd be like, yes, and just pretend and want some milk, or then it would just be a bit of a joke. And then he'd just have some water or have a banana or something like that. So yeah, that was really good. So my fourth tip is to cut one feed at a time, or one set of feeds at a time. So as I said, I cut down the on-demand feeds during the day. We were still breastfeeding for him to go to sleep, like the midday sleep, and then if he'd wake up, if he wanted to continue sleeping, and then also the nighttime sleep to get him to sleep, and then also he was still waking a few times at nighttime. And then in the morning when he would wake up, I breastfed him then as well. So the on-demand feeds were my first feeds I cut out, and then I cut out the going to sleep feeds. So the daytime going to sleep feeds and the nighttime going to sleep feed. And I would still feed him when he woke up, if he still needed to go to sleep. During the day, I would still breastfeed him once when he woke up, because he would still need to have a longer sleep. And then during the nighttime, if he woke up, yeah, those couple of times, once or twice, or sometimes not at all, then I would feed him. So then I cut the feeds that when he woke up, cut the daytime feed when he woke up and the morning feed when he woke up. So then I would really like try to cover myself and not have my cleavage showing or boobs showing or anything. I'd just like wear something buttoned up or something. Or then Josh would be like, oh, let's do this, or let's have a coffee, or this or that. So really try to distract him in the morning time. And then after that, the nighttime feeds just disappeared by themselves, and he was just happy just to roll over and me just be comforted by just rubbing his back or just being near him or holding his hand or something, which was really sweet. So I also thought I'd share how I stopped breastfeeding to sleep, because that was a big one for us. I wasn't quite sure how that would happen, and yeah, because I was so attached to feeding to sleep. So just some tips of what I did was I really started to talk to him during the day and at night time about how big boys don't need milkies anymore, and about the nice special things that we could do instead. And I'd also explain the process of what we were going to do instead in how he was going to sleep, because I found that just explaining everything and explaining like how things are going to go and what we're going to do and what our plans are have been really good for Zion in general life as well, but especially in the weaning process. Another thing I did was cut off one breast from breastfeeding. So and after I did this, I actually realized that that is actually a technique that people do. So this is actually a big one that I think helped wean and helped Zion be like, okay, we can't have breast milk from there, and start slowly cutting down, because one of my nipples started to get really sore, and I actually fought this for a bit, and then I realized actually I'm allowed to not breastfeed from there, or I'm allowed to not breastfeed at all, and just allow myself to actually look after myself as well as look after Zion's needs. I started to say that we couldn't breastfeed from this side because it hurt mummy, and that we would just breastfeed from this side. I would also ask him if he wanted a massage instead. After our whole nighttime routine, I would turn him over and just start massaging his back, or ask him for his hands or his feet or his head, or I'd like stroke his face. I'd just do anything he felt like to feel that comfort for that night. Yeah, each night was different, and then Zion's just really taken to it, and we've actually, Josh and I have been able to go out on a few dates with Josh's parents, or my mum has been able to put him to sleep, which has just been quite a nice thing for us to do at night times before the new baby arrives, because we've got, here's my tummy, we've got just 2 months or a little bit less left to go. But yeah, thanks so much for watching. I hope you got a few tips from that, and I'll see you soon.